Okay. I think we're recording now, and we can edit out stuff if need be, I think. Um, all right. So this is the introductory to the Dekonstructed podcast, and I'm here with my fellow co-host Liam, and we're just gonna be here to introduce what we're trying to do with the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for introducing me.
Yep. Hopefully, we'll increase in quality in a lot of different ways, especially presentation and like connection and all that stuff. But that'll be later down. This is just an introductory thing for now, and then we'll move on from there in the next few weeks.
Right now, we're just kind of testing the waters, seeing what areas we can improve.
Oh.
Figure out how to go about this.
Yep. All right. Okay. So the podcast is going to be called Dekonstructed, and the purpose that we're trying to aim for is kind to fill a void, I guess, of like political discourse in America, especially like online, where a lot of people, it's very like charged, and a lot of interaction between different sides is either kind of like just yelling at each other and talking about like only going over like the same talking points and same points and not really looking into or really like considering other beliefs and opinions. And so the point what we're trying to do is go very specific into different topics with different guests and trying to explore those topics with them and see if we can kind of get maybe at the very least an understanding for why different sides have their beliefs and possibly maybe make some headway on like where our disagreements are and what goes into changing that.
And I think the thing we noticed with political podcasts like this is either it's both people or all the people in the podcast are on the same side and it's just like an echo chamber and really nothing productive happens,
Mm-hmm.
or they're on different sides and it's just a debate and it's who's got the more impressive rhetoric skills and who's just a better debater rather than who has the better idea, and then once again nothing productive happens. So we're trying to create a remedy to that, and obviously the podcast space is a little bit overcrowded, but we think we're creating something new here with the fact that this isn't like those two other types of political podcasts I described. So we're trying to find a happy medium between the two.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. That's the big other issue is the echo chambers that we see, and so it's supposed to be like definitely trying to go for the most part, a very non-hostile, understanding like view at every perspective that we bring on, and I think that's kind of reflected because we both have our differences as far as politics go ourselves, and I think so that creates a good balance, so that limits the amount of bias that we can bring at least, or at least controls it.
Yeah, and we've been friends for a long ass time.
So. Yeah, very long.
We're not gonna we don't really yell at each other or just get too angry at each other.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think even with our differences, it's very easy for us to tell like why we have those differences, and sometimes it can be like just very fundamental like ideological difference, and is very like I don't know. Yep. Yeah. So let's do kind of like more personal. I mean, not super personal, but just like introductions of each of ourselves. So I'm Kieran again, and so like we're both college students. Pretty early on, as far as political ideology, looking at like a political compass, it's kind of hard to determine like really where someone is like politically, just like with labels and such, and it's not very effective and doesn't really show what they actually believe. But the closest I think I can get is I'm definitely on a political compass on the liberal side a fair amount, and very fairly libertarian as well. So I tend to lean that way. And obviously that's not always the case for all my positions, but most of the time that's what I believe. And so like obviously we're trying to do this, but pretty inexperienced as far as like actual experience. I mean, we've I think been doing like amateur, like I don't know about research, but like kind of involved and paying attention to politics for a long time. At least I've been, and I'm sure Liam has been too. And yeah, done a few things like helped with like a mock government one year, state government for a project, and a bunch of other things. But yep. And you, Liam?
Uh, we lost a lot of what you said there.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it kind of started cutting off at um, like I was involved in mock government, and then it kind of just went
Okay.
in and out. So if you want
Uh,
to repeat that? I don't know.
it's not. That was pretty much to the end. I kind of just rambled and said nothing really important.
Okay.
Do you want to? Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'll definitely check this recording and cut out and add whatever is necessary. Yeah,
Yeah.
you go ahead and talk about yourself a little bit. I guess however you're comfortable with.
So I'm Liam. I'm a sophomore in college. I'm studying actuarial science and mathematics. Um, in terms of political ideology, I've always been pretty conservative. But like I'd say around junior year of high school, I started getting more into like the libertarian side of things. So I'd say I'm like more of a right wing libertarian, and I know that's kind of like a very popular label that a lot of people like to say they are nowadays. But um, I don't know. That's what I believe. I'm like definitely a small government type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, very independent. Um, and I'm sorry if you can hear people talking in the background. By the way, I live
That's
in
all
a
right.
fraternity house, so it can get
Yeah.
pretty loud and chaotic sometimes. Yeah. So I'm say I'm more of like a pragmatic type of person though. So I kind of support like incremental change and trying to work with sides. Yeah, I tend to support the Republican or conservative side of things, but I guess I like to consider myself an independent thinker. So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. I feel like an important thing, especially for us, is like I definitely think of myself too, kind of as an independent. Like obviously I lean left, but um, I definitely like want to be able to point out flaws with like candidates and like stuff on the left side. Yeah, it definitely is far from perfect, and yeah, um,
yeah, it can be tough at times to point out
yeah,
flaws on your side, but
mm-hmm.
it's arguably more important than pointing out flaws of the other side.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
um,
and um, I think so. I don't know where this originated from, but I think it goes with what we're trying to do pretty well. But I think there's something like I should have looked it up, but I've heard that like to be able to argue against something or to have like a valid what is it if you, to have like a opinion on something or a strong opinion or belief, you should be able to argue the other side, because like it's hard to like believe that you're correct without understanding the possible flaws or what people perceived flaws and like your opinions or and stuff like that, and that is really necessary. And so that's like a big part of what we're trying to do is exposing the flaws in people's beliefs and like why they hold those beliefs anyways, and yeah.
yeah. Um, so yeah, we're hoping we can kind of get in depth on each podcast with like a specific topic and kind of break it down, give like some of the main stances or the most commonly held stances,
Mm.
or maybe just
Oh.
break it down and try to analyze, why that person believes that, what evidence there is for and against
Mm.
that belief. Try to really bring a, a sense of objectivity that seems to be missing in a
Yeah.
lot of podcasts or political media in general.
Yeah,
Really,
yeah, pretty much all. Honestly, all media. Like it's almost always, it's very hard to find anywhere that doesn't skew to one side, fairly obviously.
and it's impossible to be completely unbiased.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think having the two of us will hopefully balance out
Yeah.
things a little bit. So
Yep.
we're
Yep.
hoping
So
we can.
in the next few weeks, we'll start having full podcast. I'm trying to do at least an hour, maybe more, and having other guests on. Which obviously, to start off, we're not gonna have anybody like of name. It'll be like friends and family that we think will be interesting guests and can add a lot to what we're trying to, or to the dialogue that we're trying to have. Hopefully, we'll make big jumps in like quality, like production quality, so it's not as amateur. But yeah. So
Yeah, and I just want to say, like, being college students, most of us are pretty busy.
yeah,
So, we might not be able to keep a 100% consistent schedule of when these are going to be uploaded, but generally, we're going to be streaming on Sundays later in the day
mm-hmm.
around like 5 o'clock
Yeah,
Eastern time, probably,
yeah. That's the
or
goal,
maybe
but
6 o'clock Eastern time. Yeah.
that could change
So,
dependingly.
yeah, we'll just go on like a week by week basis and kind of see, you know, really when you guys are available too,
Yeah,
or when viewers are available to watch, because we'd like to have people commenting on the Twitch stream so we can read your comments and
mm-hmm.
really try to keep you guys involved in the discussion as well.
Definitely. Yeah, I think that's the other big part that we haven't really mentioned is we definitely want to involve other people so we can get as many perspectives as possible, as long as it's in good faith. And which would be really easy to do with our like streaming it on Twitch and having on YouTube and a bunch of other sites that we intend to put this podcast onto. But yeah, I think that's it. Unless you have anything else for this introduction that you want to do, I think we've covered everything.
Do you want to just maybe say like what we think of the state of the Democratic race right now? Like,
Yeah,
don't really have to get too specific or
yeah. Let's do
give
that.
your opinion on who you even want to win. Well, actually, that would be
Yeah, let's talk about like
appreciated.
let's talk about our opinions on like the presidential race coming up in general. What we think. So obviously, it's first day of March. All the way like pretty into the Democratic primary now. It's a lot going on with it. There's a lot of division within the like Democratic Party. Obviously, there's a fair amount of division within the Republican Party with Trump. There's kind of like, in my opinion, I obviously am not a fan of Trump at all. I think not even as because he's like a Republican or like a lot of the views he has, but he just seems as a kind of very unstable and unreliable, and I would really rather have anybody than him, no matter of what side. So there's not a single person I think that I wouldn't vote for on the left side right now. There's definitely people I don't like, and like so I personally, being more libertarian, am not a huge fan of Bernie Sanders. I don't dislike him. He's very kind of. I'd say he's kind of admirable for like how consistent he's been in the past. But I just don't agree with a lot of his policies. But Yeah, I definitely want someone more moderate, but I'll support anyone who goes through. And yeah, what about you?
Yeah. So honestly, I'm not particularly pro Trump either. I did support him in 2016, but I was a little bit more of like a generic conservative, I'd say back then.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think honestly, I'm kind of hoping Bernie wins the Democratic nomination just because I think it would make it easier for uh, Republicans to win.
Mm-hmm.
But uh, no, I think honestly, if someone other than Bernie got nominated from the Democrats, it depends on who it is. But I might not vote, or I in as far as the presidential race is concerned, I might not vote, or I might vote third party. But I think if Bernie is the nominee, I'd probably end up voting for Trump because I
Yeah,
just don't think a Bernie Sanders presidency would be good for this country at all.
yeah,
And I know, I know, Kieran and I agree on that now, but Kieran used to be a Bernie bro, so don't hate on him. Or he understands like where the Bernie supporters are coming from,
yeah.
and we definitely know some Bernie supporters, so we'll have them on as well. So
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I know the Bernie supporters like to get
Yeah.
their share of the discussion. So
Yeah, it's I understand where they're coming from, but yeah, being definitely like way more libertarian. I also, you said this earlier, talking about like incremental and like pragmatic approaches. I think that a lot of his policies and what he pushes are not that at all, and like are just like, even if they were to be good policies, they just don't would not be effective or work or even like go through. And especially with in the opinion or the like kind of stance that him and especially a lot of his supporters take, where it's kind of like the Bernie or bust as far as like what policies he has, not just for voting for him, but like what policies he has. It's like either this policy or none. Like um I think that's like not very useful or helpful. Yeah, I don't think he would be my least favorite. Um, like I'm not a fan of Biden at all. He just doesn't. He seems very surface level and kind of. I don't know. I definitely want like a different. Like I don't like. I have things I like and things I don't like about like Obama and like the past Democratic presidents, but I kind of want something like more new. And Biden just is completely running on being like just Obama is kind of like his running like uh
yeah.
yeah, he's just like that's what he's like, riding the coattails of Obama to try to win the primary. And I don't know, I'm not a fan of him, but yeah, I definitely understand why a lot of people like really don't like Bernie um as well. But I think if he did get into office that he wouldn't be able to do 80% of the things that he was trying to do.
Yeah, that's very true.
Especially
Um,
gigantic things like destroying like the whole private medical industry and stuff like that is not something you just do. And
yeah, and sorry to
good.
cut you off, but like I was saying, I'm studying actuarial science, so like which is related to insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So like the more I learn about insurance, the less or like the more and more I dislike Bernie's plan, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Um, so like I don't know. Insurance is a very complicated
Yeah.
matter, and it's something that I certainly did not really understand much, uh, even a couple months ago. But now that I'm learning more and more about insurance, I think it gives me a better perspective and one that I'm you know hoping I can share with you guys.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's just kind of a side note, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know. I think if I had to choose a Democrat that I would want to be president the most, I'd say probably Bloomberg.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just because he's kind of he definitely understands business, which is something that I uh, appreciate in a president. I'm definitely more of a practical rather than like political type of person.
Yeah.
But I think Klobuchar would be all right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Buttigieg, maybe I'm biased because I'm a Hoosier, but but I think Buttigieg would be all right. He's also seems really intelligent and well spoken.
Yeah, I like
So
Buttigieg.
um, I don't think he could win a national election. Honestly, he hasn't really proven he's electable.
Yeah.
So, but that's a different matter, and one that as someone who's not pro Democrat particularly,
Mm-hmm.
not one that I'm really concerned with. So, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Buttigieg, I think, is probably who I'm vying for the most. Even though, again, like, I'd be good with whoever, honestly.
I really liked Yang, but
Yeah.
rest in peace, Yang.
Yeah. He had a lot of
Like,
interesting things.
yeah,
Bloomberg.
everybody kind of liked Yang
Yeah.
though,
Yeah. He
except
had
like
so
the
many
super
unique
liberals, which is
policies.
why he lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. But as far as Bloomberg, um, I think he's far from the worst, but he's got a lot of like so he's very odd because he has a very interesting like campaign method where he hasn't been participating in the primary and he's just been doing tons of ads and he's gonna like pretty much join the race like halfway through and which would be like pretty crazy if that was effective, which it seems like it could be.
Mm.
Um, I think he has some issues. Obviously, like the biggest one is like the stop and frisk program that he had, and when he was in New York, where that was like super racially charged, or at least an execution, and that's what everyone brings up. And but beyond that, like he had, I've watched him a little bit, and like I don't know if you watched the debate he was in, or like other times where he's like kind of confronted, I guess, with different things. But first of all, he's not very like I wouldn't say passionate, but he's not very what's the word? I don't know. He doesn't like bring a lot of
Really
energy.
timid. Like he's just, you can tell he's just like the smart billionaire that like,
Mm-hmm.
he's used to everybody, taking orders from him because he's been in charge of a business his whole life.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the Democratic candidates really don't have much respect for him. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
think if he was more assertive, he would probably gain a lot more supporters. But honestly, he's been dropping so much money on these ads.
Yeah. It
He'll
might.
he'll end up with a solid support base anyways. But I don't know. I just think they're so annoying. Like every YouTube video I watch almost now has a
Oh really?
Bloomberg ad
I haven't
in
been
front of
seeing
it.
him because Indiana's not on his list yet.
Oh really?
I guess not.
Yeah,
I haven't
I'm
been seeing
I'm
any.
getting him in Alabama all the time because
Yeah.
it's a Super Tuesday
Yep.
um, state. So
That's funny. Yeah, so the,
yeah,
the other thing with him is like so I've seen like he has like there's pretty easy ways I think from like a to address like the obviously the issues that he like people had with him and when he's like talked about it and confronted with it. But I've seen videos of him like within this race talk like being like asked about his stop and frisk program or other stuff and just not doing a good job of defending himself when it would be fairly easy, which is kind of bewildering to me that he doesn't. It seems like almost like he doesn't have like someone like looking over his responses or like pre-planning what he says. I'll have to like show you at some point. I have to find the video, but like he just has like some really poor defenses of things that are very easy to at least like slightly defend. Maybe not defend,
yeah.
but it's very odd, which was
Uh,
something that surprised me. But yeah,
I'm an anti-stop and frisk for a number of reasons,
yeah,
but it's pretty easy for him to defend. Like the murder rate went down quite a bit
hmm
under his mayoralty. I don't even know what the term for it is, and under uh, what's his name, Rudy Giuliani, who I think instituted it before him
yeah,
or after. I don't know. I don't really know the timeline of the New York mayor. Um, Yeah, I mean, it's really not hard to defend. You know, look at how many people, uh, or look at how the murder rate went down. And
Hmm.
you say, also, he could say, you know, that helps minority communities because, you know, a disproportionate amount of the people who are victims of murder, unfortunately, are, you know, minorities or just people who live in low income areas in general. So
Yeah.
it's definitely easier for him to defend than it seems watching him try to defend himself out there. It's
Yeah.
honestly it's like, I mean, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Clearly he's a smart guy.
The thing is, I've seen some when he's talking about. He's had some like intelligent answers to some like kind of hard questions in the past that I've seen. But yeah, I don't. So like, I think I don't know if you heard about this, but the debate that he was on, he like there's like really no reason for him to be on it because he's still not in any of the races, and that was like a week ago, maybe I don't know, more than a week ago. The debate he was on, and it came out that Elizabeth Warren's and Bernie Sanders teams were actually pushing for him to be on it because like it would look good like for all the things they had to attack, and like they did. Like I don't, if you watch that debate, they're all targeted at him. Um, yeah, I don't know, attacking a lot
uh,
of easily attackable things that he's not doing a good job of refuting. But yeah,
I don't know. I think honestly it seems like his strategy is to just try to get the the contested convention, and then he can just be like, look at all this money that I could give to Democrats if you
yeah,
know, either nominate me for president or vice president. But I don't know. It seems unlikely that the Democratic Party would do that, even if he does have tens of billions potentially of
yeah,
dollars to hang in their faces. You know,
yep,
it seems like the base isn't particularly pro Bloomberg, although with the number of ads he's been running, that might change.
mm-hmm.
But it'll be interesting to see what comes of this whole Bloomberg thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
Yeah, it's definitely like unprecedented how he's running this his race so far.
mhm,
Mm.
for sure. And I don't know. I don't. As for the whole like Warren Sanders thing, I don't get why all the Democrats are just attacking Bernie. Like he is
Yeah,
the clear front runner, has a pretty high chance of taking the race home at this point. Like
mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like he's the most obvious target, but they still seem kind of hesitant to do it for whatever reason.
Yeah. The only one that really goes after him is well, Buttigieg has been trying to go after him in the past couple debates. And I think been doing a decent job of it because he I feel like still has partially a chance, but to have any other chance, he has really bad like minority like representation, I guess, because of like things that happened during his mayorship.
Yeah,
uh, but so he's been trying to improve by taking like challenging Bernie and trying to gain uh, favor with minorities. And then, I mean, yeah, I don't understand why not everyone else is attacking him. They seem definitely reluctant. Maybe Warren is because like, and I saw a thing about I wasn't sure if it was like actually her that um was behind it getting out, but that whole thing with like Bernie saying that a woman couldn't win to her, like I saw somewhere that it wasn't her that like actually said that she said that, but she definitely said or she like she corroborated it and said it was true. I think it was like one of her aides. That's what I heard at
yeah,
least. But that I remember after that she kind of like tanked, or I don't. She maybe was tanking before that, but I think it felt like that was not good for her when that happened.
yeah. I mean, she really. I don't know. Warren's just not very likable, to be honest.
Yeah,
There's really no fire. I don't know. I just, and also she kind of like really didn't differentiate herself from Bernie. It seems like she really just tried to be Bernie 2.0,
yeah,
and then, but like basically, I don't know.
definitely.
And I don't think she can get like a vice president under Bernie either because she didn't support him in 2016,
Mm-hmm.
and she might have started that rumor or probably almost certainly contributed to its purveyance. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, it'll be curious to see who, if for each candidate, what they would do for vice president. But yeah, she definitely isn't. That's a big problem. I feel like a lot of the candidates have had is differentiating themselves from others. That's a
yeah,
problem that Warren has. I feel like Klobuchar kind of has that problem differentiating herself with Warren. I feel like I've seen her on the debates so many times, like lumping herself and Warren like together in a group, and it's very odd. um,
yeah.
it's almost like she wants to
Because
be. Yeah, I don't know, but
the only thing they have in common, really, in terms of like thinking of this relatively speaking, anyways, is that they're both women. Like
yeah,
in terms of the Democratic Party, they're really on completely different sides of the spectrum.
yep.
But I mean,
Oh, you're cutting out a little bit.
and I think all these people staying in is really just causing Bernie to pick up even more momentum. Just like having 16 candidates probably is what caused Donald Trump to win the primaries in
Yeah,
2016.
yeah.
So
I think, yeah, I definitely think, I bet people will start dropping out a little bit. Hopefully, I agree with that a lot. I wish, like, yeah, I think definitely the moderate vote would like pull together a lot when or if like Klobuchar and Warren drop out. We just saw Steyer just dropped out. I hadn't seen that much from him, but I had watched like the town hall for him. He was pretty interesting as a candidate, but obviously didn't catch much ground at all. But yeah,
I don't know. I didn't really. Um, I don't know much about Tom Steyer to be honest, but I remember seeing like him at the debates, and he didn't really get much face time or anything. And
yeah,
I don't know. I never expected him to really go far,
yeah.
but
Neither did I.
honestly, I know it's like kind of undemocratic, and I see how there could be problems with this. But like, I think if once a couple of primaries have happened, like they should start eliminating the bottom candidates, saying like, okay, you can't run anymore. Like,
hmm
for example, like Kasich staying in until the very end, even though he didn't win a single state other than like
Yeah,
Ohio, and I think he won Puerto Rico or something maybe. But like, does that even count?
yeah. That it just kind of like I definitely understand that. I don't know if like I would ever like implement that, but I don't
Yeah.
understand why they're like. I mean, because in the past, no one's ever won a like candidacy without getting one of the first two primaries first, or like
Hmm.
the Iowa caucus or New Hampshire. Um, and then so to not only not get one of those two, but like it's understandable with Bloomberg because he's getting a lot of like poll support and he's not even in it yet. And then it's also understandable with Biden because he pooled most of his energy and time and money into South Carolina, which he won,
Hmm.
and so it leaves like so it's understandable why they would stay in. But like for people like Klobuchar and Warren who are just losing ground and like don't really have any like big moments up ahead of them that they can see. I don't understand why they would stay in the race any longer, honestly.
Yeah. And I don't know. Buttigieg seems like he's kind of losing momentum too. Honestly, like
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
he
it would
he
make sense for
quote
him to.
unquote won Iowa, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
about it.
that's true. Yeah, he definitely seems to have a bit more like pressure than some of the other people, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like it would make sense for him to like. I hope he would stay, and I think he said something about like definitely would stay in for a lot longer than Klobuchar or Warren or um,
Yeah.
yeah. But
At this point, I think he's probably betting or banking on a contested convention, and he can give his delegates to someone so he can get a cabinet position,
yeah,
which probably would would be the best thing for his career because, he only has experience as the mayor of South Bend. If he can get like a decent cabinet position, um, he could definitely build up his political capital for 2024/28.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that'll be interesting.
we'll just have to see.
I wonder. So I don't think we talked about this before, but with like I was wondering, or I saw somewhere about someone theorizing about Mitt Romney running next election again. Just because he's been like trying to having him or inserting himself in so many like political things recently in the past couple years. Like obviously the big one is like the speech he gave and the voting against Trump in the impeachment, but I think there's definitely other examples. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah,
it's very odd, but
I don't know. I don't see how he could ever win a primary after he became the first senator to vote against his own party's
that's true
president for like I get that there's a strong or not really honestly I wouldn't even say it's that strong anymore. There's anti-Trump sentiment.
Oh.
Since 2016.
Yeah.
And
you're really cutting out right now. Like I haven't heard anything you said in the past few seconds. Hello? Oh, you're back. Okay. Oh.
Probably already lost most of the support among Republicans.
Yeah. Yeah.
That he could have, but we'll just have to see.
Obviously, like...
really old.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that hasn't stopped anyone in the past, or right now. But, yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see.
I mean, Bernie had a heart attack, and he's...
there, yeah.
What chance he does.
They're all... Everyone except for Buttigieg is getting up there. And Klobuchar, I guess. Yep.
Warren's younger than Trump, isn't she?
I don't know how old she is. I think her and Bernie... I think Bernie's 78, I'm pretty sure. Her, Bernie, and Biden...
Bernie's 78, Biden's 77... Trump is 73, and Sanders is 70.
Trump was the oldest president, wasn't he?
I think he was the oldest elected, yeah, like at the time of election.
Yeah.
So.
Huh. Yeah, everyone's old.
I don't know, let's see how old Eisenhower was. 156. He was born in 1890, so he was 66. So he was a little bit younger than Trump, but not much.
Yeah, interesting. All right. Anything else you want to cover on before we end it?
I think this was a good introduction. Obviously, I got a little into the weeds at the end, but
yeah.
I think what we said was valuable. So
yeah, I think it was good. It helps like show where we are too, and stuff like that. Or fortify. Yep. All right. Well, hopefully we'll have more up soon, and yeah, we'll see people then.
All right. See you guys.